Yeah. Talk to me and tell me what you remember so far. On page 54, entry 25. Tell me what we've already gone through.
Their home got like they get it evicted, right?
And he didn't, or they didn't want to tell all of their friends because all their friends had something to do
Over the summer, but he had to like work and stuff like.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was evicted from his home, right? Day-Day's up to reading today, aren't you?
I'm not reading for nobody.
You will, or you'll get in trouble. Really, Day-Day? Guess what I'm doing, Day-Day? You're being recorded. So you might want to be quiet about it and not give me lip, right? Because then I can just show this to Coach. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So we don't have a home. My bed. My home. Out of my home. My bed. Floor. Right? So what was the issue with him? He got kicked out of his house, right? Mom couldn't pay the bills. No dad around. Where does he feel at home?
In the classroom.
Right? Room 203, I am home. Right? Okay. What's before that? Tell me what came before that. We had Miss Gorell talking about Zlata's diary, yes? Okay. And we talked about being labeled, right? With a box of crayons. A black crayon. No color, interestingly enough. Right? Making labels like C for croats, whatever, how does she say that? And then, yeah, it was croats. S for Serbs. Okay, S for Serbs. M for Muslim. And she compared that, didn't she? To what? She compared it to a black crayon of sorts, labeling them W for white, right? She labeled them B for black. Okay. L for Latino. And an A for Asian, right? Okay, so this is Lotta's War. This is Freedom Rider War, right? Okay, do you see some parallels going on there? Yes? No?
Yes.
Black crayon, it's a label. Okay. Anything else that we've read up to this point? I think that's about where we stopped, right? Okay. So we need to go ahead and move on, and we're going to be reading entry number 25 on page 54. Okay. So we have entry 25, Dear Diary. Remember, if you're talking, you're reading. Page 54, Dear Diary. Damn. School just started and I have to go to the hospital again. This time I have to have sinus surgery. The doctors say I will be out of school for a week or two. I hope they are right. I am frequently hospitalized for a lung disease called cystic fibrosis. CF has been a constant part of my life. My breathing sucks. I have coughing attacks every 5 to 15 minutes that last about 5 minutes each. I lose my concentration and I can't even breathe. The lack of oxygen gives me a migraine. My weight is also a problem since I can't digest what I eat. I can't gain weight. I have to take pills to help digest my food and perform breathing treatments. If I don't, I get severe stomach aches. Most of the time, I end up losing weight. I have been on a transplant list for over 6 months, and I probably only have a few years left to live unless I receive new lungs. It makes me wonder if I will survive this. I know I will, but it is tough and scary road ahead for me. Anything can happen to me, and hopefully I will be prepared. I'm sure going to miss school and my friends. I'm really going to miss Miss G and her class. Last year, when I was in the hospital, she brought like a 2-foot card and everyone in the class signed it. She even came to the hospital to visit me. I don't know what kind of assignments I'll miss, but I hope it isn't much. I hope the surgery won't keep me out for more than 2 weeks. I would hate to be out of school longer than that because school is one of the only things that I love doing. Diary 26. Dear Diary, today I walked into my 5th period English class and all of the desks were lined up against the wall. On the chalkboard read 12 Angry Men, and under it listed the characters in the play. It looked like she wanted us to role play. It looked like she wanted us to role play. With my luck, I'm probably going to be the first person she picks. Why did I have to be transferred into this class? Everyone in here seems to know everyone else, just like that TV show, Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Well, I don't really talk to people, and I'm sure nobody knows my name. I would like to keep it that way. Oh my gosh, she's going to pick me to be a character. I know she is. Great, just great. She's looking at me. Now everybody will know my name. I immediately stick my head into my backpack to search for something, anything, to look like I'm distracted. I can't take this. I don't need this kind of stress. Whew, she passed me up. I guess I got lucky this time. I hate talking in front of people, and all this teacher does is talk. She calls on people to answer questions like they could give a smart answer right off the top of their head. Why can't she talk monotonously through the whole class period? Why couldn't she just be boring like my other teachers? Diary 27, Dear Diary, murder, taking a life, stealing a soul, the one thing you can never repay or apologize for. Lately, the word murder has been a shadow hovering over my life. Everywhere I turn, I see the O.J. Simpson trial all over the television. Miss G is having our class read 12 Angry Men. At 2 p.m. today, my brother will be given a verdict on his own murder trial. I often think of 12 angry men in a hostile room, all trying to decide the fate of my brother. I think of how there is no $1 million defense, no dream team with briefcases filled with credentials. There is just a state-appointed attorney who probably believes that my brother is guilty too. I watched the O.J. trial on television. It seemed just when the prosecution began to present a strong case against him, his dream team displayed something else to weaken their evidence. The softened hearts of the jury. Then I reflected on my brother and saw how his only hope was a confession statement from the person he was with, the real killer. The court stated the defendant confessed his actions to a person who was not an officer of the court. Therefore, his statement is null and void, and it cannot be used as admissible evidence in court. His lawyer came and advised him to plead the Fifth Amendment, no statement, no conviction. Once again, they proved that justice doesn't mean the bad guys go to jail. It just means someone pays for the crime. I remember images from 12 Angry Men and how one optimistic juror turned the hearts of 11 jurors. As soon as I started to become hopeful, I realized it was only a book and nothing more. Today at 2 o'clock, my brother was without a dream team or guardian angel on the jury. He was sentenced to serve 15 years to life in prison. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to do a couple drawings for you, okay? For number 1, I'm looking at CF. CF is what? Cystic fibrosis. Okay? By hand, thank you. Sorry if I can just get myself together here. CF. Cystic fibrosis, this is his life, isn't it? Okay? And he can't breathe, he can't go to school here, right? So CF equals life, all right? The next thing I want to look at is I'm going to look at 5th period class, show, cheers, doesn't want to talk, whole class period. I could definitely draw a backpack.
I drew a black.
A what? How would you draw a blackboard? What did you do? Put on it?
I just rectangle and then put a little bit of underneath that's longer than it, and little pieces of chocolate.
Oh, so you drew chalkboard with swimming room in.
Yeah.
I see. That works for me. And I'm going to do the chalkboard idea. I'm going to shift it up a little bit. Is that okay? Perfect. Okay. And then you can put a little piece of chalk on each. Here's a chalkboard. Right? Okay. And then for over here, we're going to look at murder overshadowing life. And you can do it this way. I'm going to go ahead and do it in gray. I think, no, I'm not. I lied. Not that I meant to. Gray, shadow, here we go. I'm going to draw murder. Hang on. And then I'm going to do life. Okay, I have that murder overshadowing life. And how many years did he get? 15 to life. If you have something else, by all means, use it. You put a TV? Good deal. That works for me. Okay. Those are just some drawings that you could do with this. If you have something else, like I said, TV. I do love the chalkboard because that's what she talked about. They walked in the classroom. They're going to look at 12 Angry Men. I really like that. Murder, life, 15 to life with the arrow. Okay. And then CF being life. Does that help? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to move on and go on to the next one. Okay? Diary 28. Dear Diary, ever since elementary school, I've been in the accelerated classes. I thought I was lucky getting the best education and the top-notch teachers. I was on the road to the brightest of the bright. When I reached junior high, I started to realize that since I was in the accelerated program, I only knew the other accelerated kids. We didn't talk to anyone else. It was like an unspoken law. We weren't allowed to talk to the kids who weren't in the gifted program, or maybe they weren't allowed to talk to us. I knew it wasn't right, but it was all I knew. Going into high school, I was accepted into the highest academic program in my district. I thought it was a good thing until the middle of my first semester. The work was piled over my head and I felt like I couldn't think straight. I didn't have time for anything but homework. It was hard to pay attention because my teachers talked like robots. I'm sure they were teaching me important information, but the time I got home, I couldn't remember a thing. We were assigned too many pages to read in one night and too many tests in 1 week. I didn't have time to actually learn. I found my way out of this program and found my way into another one at Wilson High School. I crossed my fingers, hoping this one would be better. This new program is called Distinguished Scholars. I was given a list of qualifications that had to be met. We had to have good grade point average, good attendance, and take more classes than the average student. It seemed tough, but I felt it was a more reachable goal. I walked into this open-minded, but it just wasn't the right program for me. All of my teachers held their noses in the air as if they were above the rest of the school. Looking around, I realized I was uncomfortable. The class was made up of all white wealthy kids who couldn't have more stress than planning what they were going to wear the next day. They made it clear that their race, economic status, and the classes they were taking made them popular and better than anyone else. Even though I'm white, I live in the same neighborhood and had all of the same classes, I wanted out. When I complained to a friend of mine, he told me about her English class. She told me about her English class. My friend raved about the things they did. While they were reading about Camelot, their teacher dressed up as Queen Guinevere to add an extra oomph. They also put on plays to make the stories come to life. I have never done that. We were lucky if we were able to read out loud. I begged to meet Miss Correll. When I finally did, I was in absolute awe. Within the next week, she managed to fit me into her class. She plays reading and vocabulary games to help us learn, and she listens to our questions. She actually cares. She talks to us on a level I can understand. It's wonderful to feel like a real person and not just someone for my teachers to belittle. Diary 29. Dear Diary, recently in Miss G's class, we've been studying the legend of Camelot and King Arthur. At first, many of us in the class were not interested in the legends that occurred in medieval times. I think Miss G saw our initial lack of interest, so she decided to add a little incentive in order to get the class to participate a little bit more. She announced that once our lesson was finished and the class took, quote, the test, all the students who passed the exam would be eligible to attend a field trip to the medieval times restaurant. We had an opportunity to relive the medieval era and enjoy a nice dinner while being entertained by knights and participating in hand-to-hand combat. There is no better way to teach than to provide some first-hand experience and a little fun.